Hi everyone, welcome to my weekly Bible study. Tonight we're going to be doing Genesis 18. Abraham's heavenly visitors. The Lord appeared to Abraham in the plains of Mamre. It is believed that Jesus, along with the two angels that appeared to Abraham in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, Lord with a capital L and lowercase O-R-D stands for God in the plural form. It is addressing the Trinitarian aspect of God. Lord with all lowercase letters means master, one who has authority. Lord in all uppercase letters means the name of God, Yahweh, and being that there are no vowels in the Hebrew language, it's YHWH, as in the Father. And Lord, with a capital L and all other lowercase letters, means Adonai, or my Lord. And it's also the pre-incarnate Christ. In the New Testament, it also refers to Christ incarnate or any member of the Godhead. It is possible that Abraham was talking to the Trinity here, because three spiritual beings appear to him here. He addresses them as my Lord, capital L, lowercase o-r-d. Abraham refers to the three of them as Lord, capital L, lowercase o-r-d, plural, all three divine men in one being. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4 states, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God." Verse 10 says, "And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son." Although Lord, capital L and lowercase o-r-d refers to the Trinity, here we see in verse 10, "And he said, I." This means the Trinity is one God. Sarah is promised a son. The Lord, the Trinity, tells Abraham that Sarah will bear Abraham a son. Sarah laughs and asks the Lord that if she and Abraham should have the pleasure of having a son. The Lord, all uppercase letters, also meaning Yahweh, Jehovah, and God the Father, asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh?" Abraham asks, "God the Father, shall I of a surety bear a child, which am in old age?" God responds by asking him, "Is anything too hard for me to do?" He tells Abraham, "At this time appointed, I will return unto thee, and according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son." Here we see that God appoints times for everything. Psalm 27 verse 14 states, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart." Wait, I say, on the Lord, all uppercase letters. And according to whatchristianswanttoknow.com, waiting is one of the most difficult things we humans have to do. We must wait for the Lord's timing. To move ahead of God's timing is to take matters into our own hands. This is when we mess things up. and God's timing is perfect. To lag behind God's timing is to miss out on his blessings. No wonder those who walked with God knew how to wait. Someone who's walking with God is close enough to him to see that they might have to wait and has the wisdom of knowing how to wait patiently. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord," all capital letters, "shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, and they shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." An eagle is symbolic of swiftness. It is symbolic of the ability to soar to new heights. Wings are symbolic of freedom and rest from trouble. Wings also symbolize swift movement. Again, according to what ChristiansWantToKnow.com, have you ever seen an eagle soar? They seem to fly effortlessly, glide high in the heavens with little or no effort to stay there. That's a great image of God. We can soar above the storms if we wait on him. If necessary, we can pass through the storms being mounted up on the wings of eagles. In this way, we can walk without fainting because God will renew the strength of those who wait upon him and wait for his perfect timing. God will renew the strength of those who wait on his timing. But how do we get close to God? We can do so by obeying his commandments. Jesus said, "The one who obeys my commandments is the one who loves me." Why is obedience to God so important? LearnReligions.com states, "Learn to fast. Obedience is important because God has the perfect plan. His plan is perfect. So when we do things according to his plan, we succeed." The next way that fasting brings us close to God, by BibleWayMag.com, 1, it helps us to hear God. For those who want to grow closer to God and hear when he speaks to them, fasting enables you to enter into a space without chaos and destruction. Food is necessary for our bodies. Food is also a form of pleasure in life. When we make conscious efforts to avoid food while we fast, we are denying ourselves one of our physical comforts while we focus on God. This teaches us to be self-disciplined. It is an act of faith and can sharpen our awareness of the presence of God and will improve our ability to clearly hear what he is telling us. Isaiah 33 verse 3 states, "Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not." Through fasting, we learn to pray from the heart with the right motives. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 7, Jesus says, "But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking." Pre-written, repeated prayers will not bring you closer to God. Your goal is to develop a distinct, heartfelt, and personal relationship with Him. The more you focus on praying, the more sensitized you are as a result of fasting. The better you will be able to talk to and hear God with a grateful heart and a concern for things outside of yourself. James 4, verse 3 states, "Ye ask and receive not, because you ask amiss, that ye may consume it up on your own lusts." Now that means either you don't ask for what you truly need, or if you do ask, you ask with the wrong motives. And fasting also gives us more energy to focus on our prayer. When we fast, we don't have to think about food. Our body has more energy because there is no food to digest, and giving us more strength and time to devote to prayer. We will never stop our need to eat and drink, but when you are fed from your relationship with God, you will never be hungry or thirsty spiritually ever again. John chapter 4, verse 14 states, "But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." The men of the Bible knew how to walk closely with God. They sought righteousness. This is why they lived such blessed lives. Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Because Abraham walked closely with the Lord was interested in what Abraham had to say. God promised Abraham, if he found 10 righteous men in Sodom, that he would spare the city. Abraham was so close to God that he was able to communicate with God and hear God's voice. In chapter 19, we see that the Lord did not find 10 righteous men in Sodom. Therefore, the Lord destroyed Sodom along with Gomorrah. Here we see that the more closely we walk with God, the more we can hear His voice. When we hear His voice, we know what He is telling us to do. One of the ways we hear His voice is through His Word, the Bible. And we will go into this further and deeper next week in chapter 19, and I hope you enjoyed this Bible study.